Welcome to Facebook Live, and tonight is about appreciation brings self-acceptance and decluttering. I know a lot of us out there sometimes struggle with the idea of appreciation for self-acceptance. I know for myself, it's something I still struggle with myself is having appreciation and self-acceptance. It's not an easy thing to have to, or things to appreciate ourselves. And, we are sometimes the hardest on ourselves and in accepting who we are and what we are. And sometimes even for myself, I have physical manifestations when I'm under stress or any things, and I have to really take care of myself. Otherwise, my own emotions or things or different things out there affect me. And so I have to really learn to take care of myself. And I know a lot of you folks out there, I don't know if any of you deal with, physical issues or emotional issues or any other number of things that, we all have to take care of that, even whether you be normal or abnormal or whatever you want to consider normal is, up to each of us. But I would like for us to start to think about having appreciation for us. To me, having appreciation for us is being able to speak up for our needs, what those needs may be physically, our physical needs, having the right amount of exercise or physical needs, or having, right foods to eat and healthy food to eat, and taking care of our bodies in the right fashion, making sure we get plenty of rest, plenty of sunshine, and being around people and such, and social interaction, and all that's good. And then to me, another great thing is taking care of our mental. That was back to social. Our mental, reading good materials that feed our mind good, and not being, hearing a lot of negative stuff that come in through our ears, which there's plenty out there, and plenty of people who are out there just being a bunch of negative stuff. We have a choice around who we want to be around or what we want to hear. And maybe not always all the choices, but a lot of times we do. And that includes me. And if I can speak up to it, I do, because if I don't have to hear it or be around those people, I choose not to, because I know the impact it has, and I don't have to live that way. And it brings a better future for me and a better future for my body. And I know where I've been and what my present moment is. And that means much more to me than all, I don't know. I'd rather have a much more positive moment to live in as far as that's concerned. And then I think for me, the next thing I would have to think about is my spiritual aspect of me, as far as taking care of myself and, self acceptance, as far as that's concerned, is my spiritual needs are really important. Without my spiritual needs, it makes it really hard to feel like a whole person. And whatever your spiritual practices may be, are important to you, as long as those spiritual practices don't harm other folks. That's the only place where I draw the line. As long as my spiritual practices are to enrich my life, and maybe if I worship with other folks who believe like me and it enriches their life, that's, to me, that's the greatest thing, that where that happens. And if it goes for you too, I think that's great. I really think that's a great thing. But if it goes to harm other folks, I don't think that's so great either. And the other thing I'd like to think about is, how do we realize and how do we put all these into self-acceptance? I think the one thing we have to think is, what is the biggest value they are to us as a human being, as far as our self-acceptance of us truly, of who we are, and our mind, our body, our emotions, and our spirit. All of these have to be together for self-acceptance to be. Neither one of them has to be out of order. Otherwise, self-acceptance is hard to have because, we are the hardest on ourselves. We don't like to have self-acceptance. And sometimes we have self-sabotage if we don't have self-acceptance. And that's not a good thing either because we push people out of our lives that may love us or care about us. And it's not a good thing to do that either. But then sometimes we also have to look at people that are not so healthy for us that we need to let go out of our lives too. They may be close to our heart, but at the same time they harm us. And that's a decision we also have to learn and have self-acceptance of that. And that deals with relationships. And that's a hard subject too to speak on. And I'm not a psychologist or a doctor or anything like that as far as relationships. The only thing I can speak on is my experience. And my experience is that you have to listen to your heart and your gut and your spirit and your soul and your experiences. As long as those experiences are based on, I consider it a balance of the mind, body, soul experience, and that you weigh the pros and cons effectively. And if I can go back to appreciation, I think one of the biggest things we can do is have appreciation for yourself and your needs. And I think that's some of the biggest things you can realize for yourself is when you have appreciation for your needs, then you have appreciation for yourself. And when you have appreciation for yourself, you have self-acceptance, and self-acceptance leads to a greater life, and a greater life leads to a much better way you can live life on life's terms. And if I could just let you know, that pathway for recovery will be out within the next 3 weeks. And with that, if you want to be on the first links, just register at at the email address. If you want to receive a free video at our page, just give your email, you get a free video. Or it's also actually a workshop if you really like to know. It says a free video, but it's also a workshop. And I never really let you know about that before, but it is also a workshop and teaches some things that should help you a lot. And I hope you the best. You have a great Declutter's Delight for life, peace and tranquility, hope and love, kindness and love. Let there be peace and love in your heart. Blessings and good night. And until I see you again tomorrow, good night.